My name's Bobby Craig. I'm from here in Lexington. I've lived in Lexington all of my life. I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life. For about the first 40 years, mostly ups. After that, a lot of downs. And I've made decisions in my life that took me in wrong directions, led me to do things that I shouldn't have done. Rather than seeking God's guidance on the decisions that I made, I just off the cuff made them, and it caused me a lot of problems. I had a lot of legal issues. For about the last, probably since 2004, I've probably spent better than half of that time in and out of jail. A place I never ever thought that I would ever be. Somebody had told me when I was younger that that was going to happen to me, that I said, there's no way. I just don't do that. But I did, and it caused me a lot of problems. I was in a halfway house in Louisville. After I just spent 2 years in jail, I used a couple of credit cards of my former girlfriend's without her permission, which is why she's now my former girlfriend. Worst mistake I ever made in my life. But anyhow, I spent 2 years in jail for that. Got out, went to a halfway house in Louisville. My mother had come back here from Florida. She got hit by a car. And so I knew that I needed to get back to Lexington to be able to help her out. So I'd asked my sister to look into transitional housing here in Lexington to see if I could get back. There were two that she found. One was Hope Center, and then one was Potter's House. So I asked her to give me the number for Potter's House. So I called and I talked to Charles Patane. And immediately, as soon as I started talking with Charles, I knew that that's probably the place for me, because I could just tell that he was a caring person. So he sent me an application. I filled it out, honestly sent it back. And about 10 days later, we talked again, and he said that my application had been approved. So I put in the move to come from Louisville back to Lexington. And then when I got back here, when I first got to the Potter's House, Alan Cunningham, who was the house supervisor, when I first met him, I knew that I was probably in the right place. And then the next day, I finally got to meet Charles in person, and Steve Jarrell and Sean Wade. And I can't say enough about those guys. The first time when I sat down, I met with Charles, and I knew that I was in the right place. That this is where I needed to be to help me get my life back together. That, Charles and Steve and Sean, like I said, they were genuinely interested in seeing people succeed and get their lives back together. The first time that I sat down and talked with Steve, it was just like he and I knew each other all of our lives. I thought might be a 10 or 15 minute conversation turned into an hour and a half. One thing I've never really been able to do money-wise is budget. If I've got it, I'm going to spend it. And it just, Sean, we sat down and we just, I got a job when I first came back here. It took me a couple of weeks at Slotsky's Deli. It was probably where God wanted me to be at the time, because I'd been a territory sales manager for one of the largest Anheuser-Busch wholesalers in the Southeast, Kentucky Eagle Beer here in Lexington. So, and I was washing dishes at Slotsky's. So it was kind of a humbling experience, I was already searching for other work anyway. And then I wound up with the player services coordinator with the Red Mile for KRM Wagering. It's kind of a casino setup. I'm not a proponent of gambling, but it pays pretty good. And I'm still, still seeking some other employment as well. But it's, a foot in the door to get back into more of a professional type career. But Sean helped me out, with budgeting money, saving money. I saved. I've been able to buy a car, pay cash for it. Was able to save up money, be able to get my own place. Moved out here. Moved out a month ago. I came back here in December. It took a few months, but I was able to do it. The overall support that I got from Charles and Steve and Sean is just, it's amazing. And the one thing, that I've come to understand is, there are a lot of places out there who want to help people who are homeless and who have issues and such, but I think they just more throw up a building and throw them some clothes and throw them some food, but do they genuinely care? And that's what I like about the Lexington Rescue Mission, is the people here, everybody that I've met, they genuinely care. I'm so thankful that that God led me here. If there's anything that that I can do to help, from the way that they've helped me, I'm all for it and want to do it.